I'll go check it out. Whoops. I'm sorry. What the?
What? What'd you do?
No, I started a video. I just want to go look at your stream. Uh, let's see here.
Yeah, I'm like waiting for everything to update so I could.
Oh
Okay,
shit!
here we go.
Now I'm doing that. Okay, I got it together now. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm with it. I've had a busy morning. Very busy
Oh, we have
morning.
James Apperson in the side chat.
We do.
Hey,
We have. Yeah, we have some people, but apparently we are live. So that's good.
AR.
Yeah, we are.
Scott Duke's
Did
in
you
the.
ever?
Sorry.
What's that?
No, I was like Scott Duke's in the chat. I'm
I'm
just fucking
always in the
around.
chat. I'm always chatting.
Yeah.
You are.
Carol Kay's here, and James, and you're there. Oh my God.
Indeed.
Anyway, yeah. Can you remember you said we had some disagreement when I was talking
I
about
do not
mindset?
remember. The only, I mean, because I was
I
asking
don't
Scott
either.
that too. And I'm like, the only thing I ever remember disagreeing with you on is when you were going through shit on free will. And I did a whole stream just for you, which I know
Oh
you're
yeah,
just,
that's right.
it's I'm like, that's the only thing I remember disagreeing with you on. The only other thing was when you were talking about introspection. And then you're like, oh, no, I'm not talking about the normal thing. I'm talking about this other weird thing that nobody's ever fucking heard of. And I was just like, oh, okay, carry on. Because I have no idea what that's about.
I love that partial quote, partial editorial comment.
I
Yeah,
can't
you know,
remember
you
the
said that thing that nobody ever says because it's
right.
fucking weird.
Well, introspection. I guess what I may have been talking about is the given. Is, is that what I mentioned? The given that everybody thinks that you like. They think that you have automatic access to what you're conscious of. That it's a given that
Oh,
everybody is
God.
conscious, right? And there's kind of a trick there because when you focus on something that you're conscious of, like all of a sudden you have this task in mind where you say, oh, am I conscious? What am I conscious of? You're no longer conscious of that thing that you started out to be conscious of. You're now adding a whole bunch of cognitive overlays to introspecting your consciousness. And what you're doing is you're moving your attention around to different parts of your visual field, or you'll feel your butt in the chair or whatever, but you're not really accessing that consciousness in the moment like we think we can. And so that may have been what I was saying, but that gets into a big fight that existed from around 1930 until 1970 or 80 on consciousness. I think it's still going on, but I mean, it's called the given. It's like people will start talking about consciousness and they'll say everybody knows what that is because we all have it. It's like, oh yeah, really? Define it for me, and then that's where it all falls apart. It's like, well, I see this and I feel this, and I don't know. I feel like a bat. I feel like a bat quite often.
Yeah, we were definitely simul streaming. There's people talking to me in my chat. And I love my
Oh, good.
fans. And I think we know the same amount of people. So I love all of you guys. Carol's here. Dr. Tapioca Weasel is here. Nerdy Rodin is here. My chat. Jason
Okay.
Jacoby. I love Jason Jacoby. He's awesome. But I did want to say hi to Carol and Captive Desk.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
linked
and I
you.
want to remind you again, my background is in behavioral psychology. I know you like talking
Right.
about cognitive, very different fields of study.
Yeah. So, is that what you're passionate about? Do you?
Well, okay, so my profession is human resources, so which
Okay.
gets into a bunch of things, but specifically worker motivation, but it's difficult to parse out worker motivation from just like random human motivation. There's a bunch of overlap, and um, part of worker motivation is parsing out those fields of human motivation that allow oligarchs to extract labor for money,
Oh,
exploit labor
that is the
for more
goal.
money. Yes. So
That is the goal.
yeah, that's part of my job. So I think that my goal is always to love the worker, because if you take on the pretense of giving a damn, it's actually distinguishable from actually giving a damn. You empower people to do their job, and that way you're micromanaging less, and it frees up the managers to be able to think about higher order things, and so you can again exploit um, their labor for, because they're being innovative and thinking about more ways to make you money, Mr. Oligarch.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my
Yeah, I think like I did computer contracting for 40 years. So I was like going from one job to another. I think I had like maybe 30 clients. And the jobs where I really, really did really good work were the ones where I was empowered to do the work and I felt like I was a part of something. And I cared
Mhm.
about that more than the money.
Yes,
It was just feeling like I was doing something for them,
yes, exactly.
or for the world or whatever the hell it is. And like a lot of employers totally miss that. They think the $6 an hour or whatever the hell they pay people is going to do it
Yeah,
for them.
it's like, but you're getting money. That's the deal. You do thing. I
Yeah.
give you money, and I think there may have been a time, like in the 50s, or I guess with baby boomers, we kind of see that, where it's like a hard day's work is its own reward. But as Gen X, less so, and by the time you get to millennials, they're only looking for intrinsic motivators.
Yeah.
So we're past the time where you can think that way and still attract, maintain, and staff without productivity suffering. So I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people are still stuck in that old school management style, but in my field, like worker motivation, we've been past that for a good 20 years at least.
Yeah. I started out working for the iron mines and taconite mines, or
Hmm.
taconite plants up in northern Minnesota. And we had a steel union, and we would screw the company every chance we got. It was the Erie Mining Company. It was the
Yeah.
taconite plant I worked for.
Uh-huh.
And instead of saying good morning when you run into somebody, in one of the tunnels, you
Hmm.
would say fuck Erie, fuck Erie. That's what everybody said. And
Oh, that.
it was just so bad. And people would steal stuff, and they
Mhm.
take home bolts, and and it was just, and we absolutely hated the company we worked for, and we never felt like we were any more than just another number two shovel,
Mhm.
that was gonna pick something up. And they did everything possible to pit management against. I mean, it was almost like a movie with a protagonist and an antagonist, and the company played the part of the villain, and they actually played it like on purpose. The people with stripes on their helmets were the villains, and they would like live up to their reputation and try to screw you every chance they got,
Yeah.
and then we would screw them back. What a
Mhm.
fucking mess. No, I mean, what were they thinking? It's just like,
Okay, so they're thinking that you are, sometimes you have to manage materials. Sometimes you have to manage
yeah,
people, and the head of, I mean, we've seen this all throughout time, really, that human labor is just kind of seen as another thing. They really want us to just be robots, but we're not.
yeah,
So you
no,
can't manage people the way you would machinery. So I mean, yeah, what they're thinking is, okay, we agree that you would do thing. Go do thing. Like why do I have to think about you? You should just be doing thing. And no, every time you treat people like that, you see them, and it's not even just in employment. Um, when you and I'd get into cheaters. But let's talk
Yeah.
about people who cheat that don't normally cheat. They're not just like pieces of shit. Usually they're looking for something that they're not getting in the relationship. Um, or
Yeah.
Or they feel they have
if
no
you're looking
choice
at
because
actual
that's
pieces of shit, they're not
yeah.
getting something from themselves. They need to grow up and they shouldn't be in a relationship until they meet their own needs. But outside of that, let's just say I'm a fully functional human being. I'm not prone to cheat, but I'm cheating. Why? And it's usually because someone else is meeting a need that my husband is not. I didn't cheat for the record, but I'm just, I use myself in this example when I don't want to like put somebody else on blast. Um, and so we see the same with workers when they feel like they're being fucked over. The natural go-to is to fuck the company over. And
Yeah.
the reason you would want to empower them to do their job is so you can prevent them stealing company things, stealing company time, um, being less productive, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And it looks different for every employee. So if you are really good at what you do, you are looking at the individual and saying, hey, here are your strengths. I see you. And what do we need to do to get you to, you can grow in place. So let's just say I'm a nurse. I don't have to be on this rung. Like if I don't want to be in management or leadership or, whatever, there are things that we can do within your job to keep you motivated and to keep you focused on things that are important to you. And so that's what a good employer should do. But it it takes time, attention. I mean, you have to have the talent in management or leadership to be able to see that in people, to be able to bring that out of people. And the company has to have money to want to throw at it.
Yeah. Yeah. My sons and I started a consulting company, and they're still running it. And they fired me, but and they should have, because it just wasn't working out. But anyway, so I still own a piece of this thing. But we have a bunch of engineers, and they were tasked with writing up something about the company, because there was some sort of I don't know, there was some sort of a meetup in Minneapolis where they were uh, advertising certain companies, and all the employees wrote up statements about our company, and they brought us to tears. I mean, they were just like, "This is the best place I have ever worked." And part of the reason for that is my sons have a management style of, number one, constantly seeing them as people and like families. They have families and connections, and so if they need time off or they have a problem, they get it, right? And they
Mhm.
have a lot of vacation time, and they're encouraged to recreation, and taking their, it's just a different attitude. And along with that, they have these like checkups where they actually listen to the employee, like, how you doing, what's happening, what's up, and all that stuff. And so they get just it, and that is a way that I always thought a company should be run, and
Mhm.
I'm really proud of them for pulling that off. And it's helping them. Like right now, hiring programmers
Mhm.
is like finding gold in your backyard. I mean, you can't. It's just so difficult to get programmers now,
Really?
that it's a really good thing that they're as good as they are, but they're still having resource troubles. So
Oh, wow.
very hard to do. But it's kind of an interesting feel. Like contracting was really cool, because I would go and visit a company, and I'd immerse myself into the culture and the climate.
Mhm.
I'd become a part of the team. And after about 6 months, everything would start to go to hell. Everybody would start hating on each other, and they're, the project was nearing completion. Everybody was just sick to death of working long hours, and it started to smell. It was kind of like old fish, after a while. And then I would, like, my contract would end, and I'd walk out in the parking lot, and the whole thing would just fall off my back. And I was just like, I don't care. I don't care. I love that. I love being a contractor.
Really? Yeah.
I can just go
I
from one place to another.
Yeah, it's really big in my area. Everybody wants to be self-employed, so which just means you have a bunch of
Yeah,
fucking contractors. Um,
yeah.
and if that's what you want to do,
Fucking
I applaud
contract.
that. But the marketing aspect, I have never been able to get behind. Where it's just like, no, you should want me to work for you. Why? It's like, God, I just want to pass one job interview. I don't want to have to do it every day, all the time.
Right, right.
You know?
Yeah, I
But I
guess for
mean,
a
if
while it
that's your
was.
thing,
Yeah, for a while I had a pretty good reputation, and I just walked from one job to another, but I relied on agencies. And then in oh god, around 2000 something, when I started getting older, and now it's really difficult to get hired as an old guy programmer, right?
it
And
always has
so
been. I mean, you know,
it
that's why we
just
have all these laws telling us that we're not allowed to discriminate against old guys, right?
right, but everybody does anyway. It's just
You can't prove it.
yeah, I can't prove it, right? It's very hard to prove that. Yeah,
Yeah, it really is.
yeah, it's
It really
pretty
is.
crazy.
Oh my God,
Anyway,
Esther. I'm sorry, Esther's in my chat. I love Esther. She's beautiful. I was supposed to stream with
and
her and some other people last week, but bitches be tripping. Not Esther. Esther is a lovely person, just other people. And it's like, yeah, I'll totally do it. Psych. So
which one
I
is
do want to
that?
do a stream. I'm sorry, the Afro atheist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just watched a video, a little bit of a video.
Yeah, I'm
One of her
sorry. Yeah, not
videos.
to totally derail the whole thing. You know what, Esther, I might do one with you after this because I really do want to do a stream with her. She's amazing. And if you listen to her story, like, God, it, I don't know.
Incredible.
We be
Yeah.
black women, we be strong.
So, are you a lifelong atheist, or did you
I am not
like
an
convert?
atheist.
Oh,
And
you're not an
I
atheist.
deconverted from Christianity at the age of 33, which, oh my God, that's 10 years ago. Holy shit.
Oh. So, what would you call yourself? Agnostic, or
Um, when, if pushed to give a label, I will say agnostic.
okay?
Um, I'll also say Taoist. But I haven't really found anything that gives a proper label. I was in the New Age community for a while, but
Yeah.
I can't truly. And it's so weird because it's such a mismatch of stuff. And, you know, it's kind of like a catch all. It's like religion, NOS. But
Yeah.
I just, I don't, I think that you have to have supernatural beliefs to like really consider yourself to be a part of that. And I really can't say that I do or don't have supernatural beliefs. I have experiences that I can't explain that I'm not I never believed in supernatural. So like even when I was
Yeah.
in the supernatural community, we really didn't like we would say magic is just the science that we haven't discovered. So and then being part of the skeptic community, it's just like, well, is that really a supernatural claim, or are you just saying that there's science that we're unaware of? Because scientists say that too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I am. I'm Maya. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah. I so I came up as basically like an atheist at 8 years old,
Hmm.
and or at least a non-believer, agnostic. It just didn't resonate with me. The Christian thing really appalled me when I was a child. I
Hmm.
thought it was, even then I could see that it was racist, sexist, that there were all kinds of problems with the Presbyterian church I was attending, right? Even as a
Hmm.
very young boy. And I found the whole thing to be horribly unpalatable. So then I'm an atheist, and then I had this like amazing religious experience at 15, and switched over to what I would call secular Buddhism. So my kind of like my whole life goal has been sort of reinterpreting these supernatural claims like religious experiences and whatever in an entirely physicalist manner, in a secular manner, right? looking at the psychology of religion, or the psychology of religion in humans is so real. And I think a lot of atheists, when they cross over, they want to deny all that. And I don't want to deny it. I want to bring the words back, because I always tell, I always tell people that I'm an atheist who prays. And I do have a prayer ritual that I do. And I know that it works for me, but I know that it doesn't work for me in that I inspire some supernatural thing to help me out. No, I change my brain when I pray. I always change, I change what I look at, what I see, how I process things.
Right.
So like if I run into an interpersonal situation where I'm really at odds with some family member and we're just fighting it out, we can't see eye to eye, and I just hate them and they hate me. And then I will, at one point I will say, okay, I do this prayer thing where I let go, and then I wait for 3 days. And after 3 days, a fucking solution will pop up in my brain.
Every time?
Right? And, yeah, almost every time. I mean, it's like it's almost constant. I like all of a sudden I will reframe the entire interpersonal conflict from a bigger perspective outside. And I'm no longer mad at the person. I can understand where they're coming from. I can see what I did wrong. I get this perspective that is just amazing. And it's all from this prayer ritual that I've learned to do. And I've learned it in, with Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
Which I think is a really incredible program of self-improvement, except that it's so tied up in God in some areas.
I was going to say, like, I usually don't hear good things about AA in this community.
Atheist community, right? Because they have not. Well, when I got into Alcoholics Anonymous, that was 1974, right? And so I'm a secular Buddhist coming into it. And I read the 12 steps and I said, holy shit, this is a path to spiritual enlightenment. This is like, it's one of the paths that, that are talked about in like changing your life and coming to what you would call enlightenment, right? Where you give up the ego and all that stuff. And it resonated with me. So my entire goal in AA has been to help people who I call religiously impaired, who are, atheists who just aren't going to buy this God bullshit. And to tell them, okay, God is like a talisman. It's like if you had a stone or a crystal that you thought had magical powers, and what you need, and it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something outside yourself that you can focus on. And when you do that, when you give yourself up to this outer universe, cosmos, all of a sudden it changes the frame of your mind. You stop trying to rationally cogitate through all these solutions, or like interpersonal relationships, right? And so what I wanted to do, and I think why I started this channel, is my original goal was to reinterpret a lot of that shit. And because I run into the Matt Dillahunties, and I thought they were too quickly discounting what the Christian was feeling, and they would like argue with them on this rational basis, right? Of course, God doesn't exist and all that bullshit. But they were missing the thing that religion is doing for these people in their lives. And that thing is something that all humans share and all humans have access to. And it doesn't have a damn thing to do with anything supernatural. It's psychology. So that's
a lot of what you're talking about is a lot of what I experience through meditation.
Yeah, exactly.
Maya, you done gone and did it.
What?
Your little thing here. I believe we are our own gods. Now, every evangelical who ever sees this is going to go, see, I knew it. Those atheists just want to be their own gods.
Be their own god, right?
Thanks a lot. Now we got all this.
Well, I did the disclaimer that I am not atheist. I'm not willing to discount a god. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we do act like our own gods. When you look at, let's say, Greek mythology, I think most people are familiar with, where there's like a bunch of, there was Zeus and, whoever he fucked, and all of his children, and the children are always fighting.
Children.
He did, yeah. He has children by some of his children.
Hermes, course, Heracles was a semi-god. Yeah, Demeter. Not to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
confused with the scientist that we know.
yeah, I'm not a pagan, so I can't
Yeah.
get into all of that. And then I'll start naming off people who are in other, mythologies, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. But I know that in that pantheon, there's a bunch of kids, and they're always mad at each other, and they're always doing shit to one another. And but these are the gods, right? And
Mhm.
so when all of you have ultimate power, then yeah, what is there to do except fight it out, cry it out, work it out? And I don't see it being any different than what we do here. But at the end of the day, we are our own saviors. There's nobody
Right. There's
else
nobody out there to
coming.
help us, but
Yeah.
Right. There's no
ourselves and our
supernatural
community.
thing above us that
Yeah.
is. I mean,
So
I
back
don't
when
know. I'm sorry.
back when I was reading Ellen Watts when I was like 16 years old,
Mhm.
he told this. He had this thing that he said. He said, in the East or in the West, if you come down and you say, "I am God, I'm God," they put you in an insane asylum. In the East, they say, "Congratulations, you finally figured it out. You know that you are God. You're one with the universe," and which is the difference between the East and the West. So when I got thrown into treatment when I was 24 years old, I was in this one of these group encounter therapy sessions where the counselor, where you get on the hot seat and they just grill you for like an hour.
Mhm.
And I told everybody that I was a god, and and, and of course they started calling me Jesus Christ for the rest of my term in treatment. They'd say, "Oh, Jesus!" And it was funny as
Oh,
shit.
that's awesome.
But I just flat out told them I was God, and I can back it up, right? I am God. I am.
How did you back that up? I want to know,
Oh God!
like, what did that look like?
For one thing, I don't exist as an individual, and whatever I am a part of the universe, and I am complete. I am constantly reflecting all of the universe in myself, and reflecting out into all of the universe. I mean, we are totally connected, and I don't believe in the. I believe that self is it's like a biological construct combined with our culture and reason, and it screws us up. We're overly concerned with self,
Hmm.
and and I think it's just a construct. And when you look at it as to what I really am, right now there are all kinds of bugs jumping off my arms and jumping into my arms, and and I'm dissolving as we speak and turning into the food I ate last night. And there is no real self to cling on to, right? So that's kind of the idea of I am God, that you are the universe. That's sort of the
You're on a
mystical.
big thing to like remove self or something like that, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Right.
and
So is
if
that
you
part
look
of
at it
like
that way,
you delving into Buddhist more or
yeah,
Buddhism?
Yeah.
that
He has
that
his
and
own. He has
I'm
his own
72.
custom-made Buddhism.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's
Well, but they
Ellen
all
Watts
do. I mean,
Buddhism.
if you're not
Ellen Watts
custom making
Buddhism.
it, it's not Buddhism.
That's right. But anyway, Maya, I'm 72 years old. I mean, I am definitely in the last third of my life, and I could very well be in the last year of my life or the last 5 years. My peers are dropping dead like flies, right? So what I want to do is gracefully cross that, right? I mean, I I want to die gracefully. That's one of my biggest goals, and I want to completely remove this feeling that I don't want to die. I want to die when I die. That's basically how it goes. I don't want to die right now because I'm not dying right now. But when it comes
Well,
around to me
right.
dying, I want to. So I don't know. That's
Hmm.
that, and removing yourself and recasting what is myself.
Hmm.
And then the other thing I'm doing is I'm finding all of these archetypes in my psychology that go all the way back to my youth, and I'm rewiring a lot of those things and looking at how they affect me today and rewiring them. Like my mom is still in my head saying, "Mikey, don't do that," you know. And it's like my mom's dead. Really, come on, mom, shut the fuck up.
God. Now,
It's
it's
like,
kind of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm done.
I remember, I don't know, I remember worrying about it when I was younger. And when I was like 20 or 21, I woke up one day and just the entire day, I thought today's the last day of my life, and I was convinced of it. I don't know how to explain it. It was just a feeling like that was the last day of my life. And I didn't say anything to anyone. I just made all my phone calls and let everybody know I love them, and try to do it in a super not weird way. But I wanted, there were just people where I wanted "I love you" to be the last thing they heard me say, because I didn't know if I was going to get into an accident going to or from work, or if I was just going to like not wake up, or if there's going to be like a stray bullet, or it's like I don't know how this is going to look, but I'm completely healthy, and I don't know. There was just this knowing that today was the last day of my life, and I woke up the next day, obviously, and it was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like, I don't know. Like after that, I've been okay. It's just like I don't want to die, but if it happens, like I'm already at peace with it. So I don't know what that was, but it really helped completely void off my fear of dying.
Kind of a weird ass morbid spiritual experience you had.
Yeah, exactly.
That basically changed aware. Like that's how I want to live each day, as if it's the last day of my life. Because if it was the last day of my life, I'm pretty sure it would kick ass. I would work very hard to make it a good day.
Now, Titan Uranus has the best death wish out there.
How do you not love
Titan? I want us all to work together so that Titan Uranus can have that last day that he wants. That's so awesome.
Oh my God.
I want a poster of that death.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Oh, I can see your paired.
I'm not sure I understand.
Shut up, Siri.
You don't, Siri. You're not real.
Oh, that was so crazy. Like, you remember the time when you were like, Siri, I set an alarm for every 5 minutes. She was like, okay. You were like, oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I did that. Yeah. The very first thing I said to Siri when I bought my very first iPhone was, goddamn Siri, I need a drink. And Siri started recommending a couple of liquor stores nearby and then a couple of AA places nearby, which I thought was just fucking fantastic. And then the next thing I said is I'm lonely. And then it started telling me about this sex store down on 494 and a bunch of it was like, what?
My God, I'm surprised it didn't like open up the app store and start downloading like Tinder or something.
Well, did you hear that? I don't know if it still does it, but if you said, Siri, where can I dispose of a body? It would give you all these garbage dumps nearby and stuff. It would start to list landfills and rivers and shit like that.
How about Amazon?
Siri were really smart. It'd start like telling you, like, all right, take the body, put it in your trunk, go to this police station.
Yeah,
it would give you locations where you could buy chainsaws and lime. So
yeah, they had a little bit of a sense of humor built in, but anyway, I don't know. There's been a transformation in my life in the last 4 or 5 months. Basically, I'm on the road again that I had set out on when I was a 15-year-old boy. You know, that road to enlightenment or whatever, that road to making it all okay. And I got sidetracked, with a computer consulting career and a lot of alcoholism and drug addiction and all kinds of other shit. But I think I'm back on the road. So I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or I could be going crazy, and I don't care.
We're all going crazy. I'm not altogether sure we're not all already crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of convinced of it, but
Yep. So, what was the free will fight exactly? What was the fight?
Oh, the only thing that I had an issue with you was that you kept conflating free will with free choice. And I'm like, these are different things. But
I never understood that.
Everyone does that. Luca! Oh my God, you're still alive. And also stay away from fascists. That's good advice. I'm
Well,
sorry.
Luca
Mhm.
or who was alive?
Luca, the Italian last namey.
Oh yeah, Meduno,
Sure.
Luca Meduno.
McDougal
Yeah.
or something like that.
Anyway, yeah.
Where are you seeing Luke? Oh, there's Luca. He's on our stream.
Yeah,
He's
he's
on
on
our
your
stream.
side.
I
He's
had to switch over
not
to
on my
her
stream,
stream
the
because
bastard.
everybody's there anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the people that are going to your channel instead of mine, and I'm banning them.
Yeah.
Fucking traitors.
No, so yeah, Luke, I don't know. It's kind of a running joke. So Luca and I are both, I think, mods on Dapper Dino's channel. And we were, during COVID, he mentioned that he was in Italy. And I don't know if you remember, Italy like
Yeah, I
decimated
remember
its
Italy.
entire, like, what do you call it, baby boomer population. So what are you, 70? Fuck out of here. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So he was like, no, I'm in Italy. And I'm like, I can't believe you're alive. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because like in the media, it just looked like, you know,
Yeah.
COVID was picking
Armageddon.
off Italians. Like, what do you call it? It was a Passover and shit.
Yeah.
And then recently, they all decided that maybe Mussolini wasn't so bad and
Oh
reelected.
no.
Yeah,
And,
they kind of went. They kind of went Trump, didn't they, with their
Yeah.
latest
They're just
election? or something?
going nuts. Just
Yeah.
silly, stupid nuts for. But I don't know. It happened early in the 20th century. Maybe that's just something that's going to happen once a century. Then a
Yeah,
calamity will happen.
1930s.
Then we'll get over it for a while, and then it'll swing around again. I don't know.
Some shit happened in the 30s.
That's true.
Like the intelligent Republicans that I talk to, when they talk about, when I talk to them about Trump, and you'll tell them some horrendous thing that he did or some crazy ass thing he did, and they say, well, I just want to. They basically express that they just wanted to blow it all up, that they wanted somebody in there that was going to do something very different than the same old. And I, on the other hand, voted for Hillary because I wanted somebody who wasn't going to blow it all up. I don't want to blow this shit up, right? I want same old. What I expect from a president is that if anything happens, he comes on and he's charismatic and he makes us feel good. But other than that, he doesn't do much. We just move along very slowly, modify our shit. I don't want to blow shit up. But at one time, I did want to blow everything up, right? I was a radical hippie in the 60s. So.
Yeah, people keep telling me how horrible it would be if Hillary were president, but I'm like, could you imagine what the Supreme Court would look like right now if she had been?
Yeah, right.
Holy shit.
Oh God, it would.
I mean, we wouldn't be going through this. And we would have still had the status quo, but I think we would have been better positioned to get things that we actually need than we currently are.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, whatever. And I'm not a Hillary stan by any stretch of the imagination, but like, I know what better looks like.
Yeah. I didn't like Hillary at all, but Trump, holy shit. We were over in London and we were driving across somewhere in Western England, and we had a driver, and we were all talking about Trump because he was right. This was 2016. It was right before he got elected, and we were talking about Trump and how horrified we were. And he said, and we were talking about how somebody ought to just, drop a truck on that man or a piano or something. And this guy, our driver, said, no. This is the best thing we've ever seen over here in England. We're just having a good time watching Trump. I mean, they were just like, they thought it was hilarious. The whole fucking thing was hilarious. And I'm like, really? So
it was a great show. I could recognize that looking in when, your life wasn't on the line. It was fucking hilarious, especially like looking into the Republican Party. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? It was comical. I'll give them that. But then he actually won, and annoying.
It was a dark day. I remember that night. It was like I woke up the next day and it was like, is it real? Did this really happen? I mean, I've never felt that way about an election before.
Oh, for
ever.
fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Atangela's here. Yay.
Oh my God, the Brazilian douche canoe. When I call him that, he usually leaves shortly after. Praise the Lord. What the fuck's the Lord got to do with this?
Maybe he thinks Trump is Lord. Isn't that what they think?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the other thing. How in the hell does that Christian fundamentalist fucking run with the right wing so perfectly, aligned? You can, if you meet somebody and they're a creationist, you can guess with great accuracy that they don't believe that the climate is actually changing because of dumping oil into the
Real
environment.
quick. So Atangelo was just timed out on your channel. So Atangelo, if you want to come to my channel, my mods are not allowed to time you out unless you say something like super douchey. And
Oh,
my people are looking kind of bored over there. So
yeah,
you'll keep them entertained. Ha. Have fun.
good.
I don't
You
think he'll
might
come
not
to my
even have
channel.
to make your. You might not even have to make your side chats relevant or not rude, Otangelo. So that's pretty cool over there at my channel.
No,
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I fucking hate him. I actually won't talk to him. And I told him not to talk to me because I'm too good for him. Like he doesn't deserve the blessing that is my attention.
I don't deserve the blessing that's your attention. So
for the fuckers in my live chat
so,
though, they totally they love Atangelo. They love fucking with Atangelo, and I love watching them fuck with Atangelo. It's fun for me.
it just bothers me when these Christians, they know what we're talking about, or they should know what we're talking about. They don't even scan the side chat, and boom,
right.
it's all this preachy shit.
They don't read the room.
They don't even want to know like how you doing, Luca. They don't want to know, hey, captive desk, how's your channel go? They don't want to know anything about the people. They just want to preach at them like
praise the Lord.
Yeah, like
praise the Lord.
Oh, like who's that guy who used to battle windmills or whatever? It's almost like they're that guy
tilting at windmills.
Yeah. He was the knight.
Who?
It's an old story.
Tilting at windmills.
He would. It just comes to my mind.
I can't think. Oh shit! Everybody should know this.
I thought they knew he was crazy because he wanted to be a knight, and of course that was a day long past, and he would fight with windmills because I guess he said they were dragons or something. Don Quixote, thank you, Spooky. Thank you, Wooly. Thank you, HiveScience. Don Quixote. These evangelicals think they're the Don Quixote of our side chats. They just want to blurt out their preaching.
That's perfect.
Despite what people are talking about, even when I was an evangelical Christian, we took lessons at how to annoy people, and one of them was to I think it was like an acrostic.
Wait, there's actually lessons on trolling for Jesus.
This was back during the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and so we actually had to knock on doors and try to witness to people. And so, once if they would let you in, then you had an opening conversation, and you would find out about their family, their interests, religious background, and things like that. Maybe what kind of pets they have. You would, on the face of it, try to get to know them, or pretend to try to get to know them before you would try to present the gospel to them. And these folks don't even try to do that. Maybe they don't understand that we're a community of people. Maybe they just think we're.
No, all atheists are a monolith. All we do is sit down, chanting praises to holy Satan and eating babies and, getting pregnant and having abortions for fun.
Yeah, having baby stew. Make a sauce after the afterbirth. I don't know, but
so Dave from
that's my gripe. It's anti-humanist. That's the thing. It's anti-humanist. why not get to know people before you try to ruin their life? You know.
So Dave
Yeah,
from Captain
sorry.
Jess did a thing on the shroud recently, and he also just posted I am a non-believer video that explains his position.
Holy shit! I'm sorry.
What's that? What? What happened now?
Oh my god! Dr. Tapioca Weasel just timed out Titan. It's like I didn't.
Timed out Titan? Where on this channel?
No.
No, that's over on her channel, which sounds like it's more fun than ours.
Oh yeah. It was a party hangout.
Well, you know, Titan's really been asking for it for a while.
No, he's probably like kicked into like a different dimension. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How can this happen?
Shit.
All right.
Neptune in the other
I told my chat that they could fuck with each other, and they're taking this way too seriously. you boys be nice.
Yeah, you said it was okay.
I did. I regret that.
Now let me ask you about Dr. Tapioca Weasel real quick. Now he's a PhD physicist.
Yes.
Really?
And I can read your side chats, Dr. Tapioca Weasel. What is your area of specialty?
Throw Tap a link. Tap, you got to get in here.
So
he's my co-host.
Oh, Tapioca Weasel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know a real life physicist. I am so excited about that. I've never known a real life physicist. I kind of feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson knows me because he responded to one of my tweets once, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But now I have Tap, so I'm really excited about that.
So you should try to give him my email. We should exchange emails, and you should actually put yours on the Twitter so that we can communicate that way. Because we could really use a physicist around here.
Yeah, I was thinking we don't have a whole lot of PhD physicists around. We've got a neuroscientist, and who else is in our little circle with the PhDs? Not that we don't love self-taught people like Leo and others, but it's just, you know, it's always good to talk to a specialist or at least somebody.
Dr. Dan is an evolutionary.
What do you mean you're not wearing pants? Who wears pants and string? Oh, I put on pants to string here because, you know, I was told I should be a classy bitch. But pants are not required.
So is that your knee I'm seeing, or is it a big microphone?
Oh, no. Is that a big microphone in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah. No, it's just that sometimes I'll be watching
God, you're flexible.
And if it's, I'll think that that's somebody's knee, but when they've actually got a huge microphone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I'm seeing that wrong. Because, you know, these are just little tiny squares most people have, you know.
No, my microphone is over here.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow. You are, everybody's geared
up. I know. Professional streamer. I can't take shit seriously. That's why everybody likes coming to my channel. It's like, let's go over to Maya's channel. She loves talking shit.
Yeah, I think we're too serious. I don't know.
No, let Tap in here. He's like a real scientist, like a doctor. Like he's not just like doctor in the name. It's not like Kent Hovind. Like he's a real doctor.
They actually earned it.
He did. He likes to. He has like a non-Jewish lasers that he points into a space for science.
Goyim lasers, okay.
Non-Jewish.
Non-Jewish. He assures me that they are non-Jewish space lasers.
Non-Jewish space lasers. Awesome.
Well, they're non-Jewish lasers that he points into a space. You should let him come on and talk about it.
Yeah.
He's willing to join. Let me give him the link.
Yeah, send him a link.
Okay.
Awesome. Can you send it to him?
I can send it to him.
Cool.
We've got to put his,
allow me to badger them.
We've got to put his science to the
test. Yeah.
We did that. Or expose the world to it, because there's a lot of nonsense out there.
Apparently, he's the one call physicist for Atheist Edge now.
Okay, cool.
As he ought to be. As he ought to be.
There was just another. There was another video on the whole Big Bang is overturned by the James Webb Telescope bullshit by I think Dr. Becky. Did you see
Dr.
that
Becky,
one?
yeah, she's been reporting on that
Dr.
for consistently. If you don't have
Put it in
subscription to
perspective.
Dr. Becky's channel, she is I don't know what you would call her. She's an astrophysicist who specializes in supermassive black holes at the center of galaxies. Very specific course of, well, she's a postgraduate, so I guess she has to specialize like that. But
and her videos make you feel like you got invited over for tea and had a nice chat.
Yeah.
Right.
She's very enthusiastic. She
Very
does night sky news, so she, tells you what's up in astronomy, what's going on if you go and look outside your house at night and look up at the sky. It's a great channel. It's just Dr. Becky. Whoops, sorry. Two people trying to do it.
You asshole. You pissed off Titan. You gone and done did it. You know what's going to happen now. Look.
He's back. He's back. It's okay.
What did you time him out for? Just for the hell of it, or
yeah?
Because he can.
Some people
like because I clicked the thing and I was like, well, it gives me the option.
Oh no!
It's like when there's a big red button, and it says don't
you
press.
Push it.
See, this is why I didn't want mods on my channel. You give a guy a big dick and he has to swing it.
I couldn't help myself.
Awesome.
Oh.
Well, I mean, everybody that was not Titan, everybody that was not Titan loved it. So
I'm pretty sure Titan loved it too. He seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So what kind of physics do you do?
I'm an experimentalist. I study ultra cold atoms, and I use lasers, as Maya said. And the experiment that I'm working on is to try and use atom interferometry as an ultra precise measurement, with the aim of eventually being able to measure gravitational waves at lower frequencies than we can currently measure them.
Now, are y'all legally allowed to use non-Jewish lasers?
Jewish lasers are banned.
Well, I mean, luckily, we have freedom of religion for the lasers in our lab.
Okay.
So
I was very concerned when Maya mentioned that you use non-Jewish lasers, because I thought that violated some sort of EEOC thing for lasers. And so, we just need to make sure y'all are on the up and up. But that does sound fascinating.
So you're not allowed. You're not allowed to test your lasers for being Jewish. You can't run a test on them. You're not allowed.
I don't even know how they would pass or fail such a test.
I
don't even know how you would design such a test. Like, do you give the laser like a test of Hebrew? How is it? I don't
know. I'm not.
How does it write its name? How does the laser write its name at the top of the piece of paper?
You quiz it for Yiddish terms. I don't know.
Quiz it for Yiddish terms. I don't know. We could devise such a test, I think, but I don't know.
Maybe
difficult
if you
problem.
You roll a $20 bill over it and see if it tries to take over the world.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's a hot take.
Yeah. Okay.
You knew we were all thinking it.
It's just like, well, somebody's going to say it. It's going to be me, obviously. And yeah, because I work for a Jewish employer. So this could only end well for me.
That's right. Somebody's gonna show you a clip of this video and hold it over your head at work.
I know.
You're gonna get canceled, Maya.
I know that could happen. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
I grew up in a place that had I guess we had like 3 synagogues, but I did not know what a Jew was until I was like at least 14 or 15. I had no idea. My dad used to use some expressions And I just thought it was a word, like some fucking word in Polish language or something for, people being frugal or something. I don't know what the fuck I thought.
You had only heard of it as a slur?
Yeah. So I had no idea what a Jew was.
I don't think I was allowed to say the word Jew in my household.
I don't know.
And I don't know. See, that was my family's answer to everything. If it's controversial or at all makes anybody mad for whatever reason, you just don't say it.
Yeah.
So
that kind of makes me mad. So
I don't know. I grew up in a really weird place. We had Native Americans, we had Polacks and Finnish people, and that was about it. And there were a few people that admitted to being Germans, but we ignored them. And I don't know. And that was about it. And first time I saw a black person, I was 15 years old. So I mean, it was weird. Like it was this little mining community out in the middle of the woods up in northern Minnesota, and it was actually a big mining community, about 50,000 people. So I don't know. I was sheltered. I didn't understand racism, or that I didn't know about it until I was like until 1961, 62. And then it was like a shock, that there was such a thing, because I don't know, it's really weird.
Well, I knew about racism because I knew my grandfather. So
it turns out all those fucking people up there are like, there's a lot of them that are just horrible racists now that the proposition is in front of them, right? But back when I was a kid, there was no proposition. It was never a question. I guess Native Americans were kind of put upon, but I thought it was because they were poor, and because we were poor too, and we used to hang out with them. I don't know. It was weird. There was a lot of classism, and I did understand that very well.
Well,
my uncle was
we are kind of blind to our social classes. We concentrate a lot on economic classes, but there's also social classes in America that we just don't acknowledge. People who really think that they're a better kind of person than you, and you may not ever meet one all your life, because the only people you ever really run into may be slightly above you in social class or slightly below you. But the oligarchs, like Maya was talking about earlier, a lot of them you're just never going to run across because you're just too low down for that. It's just weird how we don't mention that. And it is tied to economics a lot here in the U.S. So, anyway.
Yep. Odd upbringing. Anyway. So every now and then, Andrew Cumming and a few others come on our channel and Leo Phileas and start talking physics. We could use you.
Oh yeah, sometime. He shut Leo down once.
Ooh,
you did what? You shut him down.
Leo had a very specific opinion about whether or not
that's a Leo.
Bohmian mechanics had been experimentally disproven by Bell entanglement measurements, and I was like, I don't think that they have been, and he was like, I think they have, and I kept on. I posted like on many of his videos, being like, do you still believe this? Because I think like John Bell would disagree with you, Alan Aspect would disagree with you. And then when I finally got to talk to him like face to face, he was like, yeah, no, I actually changed my mind on that because because of you.
He does change his mind. But anyway, the definition of Leo Phileas is having a very specific opinion.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a little go around with him about the history of methamphetamine and MDMA the other day, and I usually I back down because I just don't want to fight with anybody, especially Leo is a good guy, but I just had to do it because it was just so bad. Anyway,
may I ask
every now
Dr.
and then.
Tapioca Weasel a very science oriented question?
Really quick. If anybody hasn't seen, Bre actually pared it down to about 40 minutes, but I think she and Leo went round and round about zoos and animal
Zeus?
cruelty. Yeah, it was really weird, and they were on the same.
Zoos. Oh,
They were
yeah.
on the same page.
Zoos.
Like,
Okay.
yeah,
You
yeah.
Place
meant
where
Zeus.
animals go.
The
Okay.
Greek god Zeus. I thought you meant the Greek god Zeus.
Yeah,
I
me
was like,
too.
About Zeus. No,
Zeus.
Bre is a
Zeus.
Guyanist. No,
See,
yeah,
I'm a
but
zoosologist, so my ears popped up.
no, but so we were all supposed to go to. Well, she and I did met Math Pig in St. Louis, and she wanted to go to the St. Louis Zoo, and she said
I was
zoo,
supposed to go there.
and holy shit! And it's so funny because like they're agreeing, like vehemently
99%.
with each other for a solid hour.
Yeah.
So she got it pared down to about 40 minutes or so.
They
It's on her
agree
channel,
angular.
but it's just like I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like I love Leo. I do. I love his passion. And he's very knowledgeable about a lot of things. But I mean, you don't have to pick up every fight. and I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I cut somebody off. Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask Dr. Tapioca a science-related question.
A Navy question?
Science-related question.
Science-related question. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm old. Please forgive me.
So, you're studying cold temperature atoms,
Yeah.
and so what are we learning here at the edge of that field of study that maybe we didn't know 20 years or so ago? Because I remember low temperature metals and things like that being more conductive, from back in the 80s and 90s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my experience left off. So what discoveries, what new things are happening in that particular technology?
Yeah, so it's actually it's a surprisingly large sort of subfield of physics that really took off in the 80s and 90s when laser cooling of atomic gases was developed. And so like in 1995, my doctoral advisor was part of the group that had the first observation of a Bose-Einstein condensate, which is when you have all of these atoms in their quantum ground state. And these systems are incredibly sensitive to various things. My other advisor, I had co-advisors in grad school. He uses ultra cold strontium atoms, which is the same atom that I'm using now at my postdoc, to create ultra precise clocks that are way more precise than the optical clocks that define what the second is. And they've gotten so precise, for example, that you can detect the gravitational redshift at the top of your atom cloud compared to the bottom of your atom cloud, and your atom cloud is only 100 micrometers tall. That's the width of a human hair, and it's so precise that you can see how time ticks more slowly at the top or I actually don't even remember because I'm a bad physicist, I guess. And so these things, GPS relies on ultra precise clocks.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely precise magnetometry measurements can be done with these things. We also learn just sort of some of the basics of how quantum mechanical systems work, and they can that can help us understand mathematically analogous but very different systems like neutron stars and things like that. What I'm doing is trying to basically make a device that will be able to measure the distance between two clouds of atoms like crazy precisely, like to within, if their difference were to change by a fraction of a proton, then the idea is that we should be able to measure that.
Wow.
And that the aim for that eventually is to look for the signatures of like neutron stars that are orbiting each other but are not like in their last in spiral. And by looking at the fluctuations from those and tracking them as the Earth rotates and moves around the sun, we can localize where those neutron stars are spiraling and getting closer to each other and predict a priori, hey, 3 months from now at 2 p.m. on this day, at that particular spot in the sky, there's going to be 2 neutron stars that are going to collide, and everybody should point their telescopes at it so we can watch it from beginning to end. And that is fucking cool.
It is. That's science, right there. That's cool. That is cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Plus, it'll let me know.
I can't believe you didn't like pull out the whiteboard for that.
If my atom clouds get too far apart, I want to know. I want my doctor.
Guess what? It still just says it meant nothing, but I have the blur on from when we were talking about Ken nothing. Wheeler.
He bought a whiteboard just for me.
Yeah.
That is a pull. That pulls me in. When there's a whiteboard up there. That's why Katie Porter is so successful in Congress.
Yeah, the whiteboard havers are the big brains among us.
I got a built-in whiteboard.
Oh,
fantastic!
There you
go. You do. Speed uses his whiteboard quite a bit, and
I draw very poorly.
People are just as confused, only for other reasons.
I just picture Dr. Tapioca Weasel one day at work, getting hit by the laser like as a prank or whatever, and becoming some sort of superhero. I just think that's going to happen. We're going to see
kind of like Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, Adam, Spider-Man, maybe a radioactive spider or a non-Jewish spider will get hit by the non-Jewish laser and hide them.
So have you been following the whole Big Bang has been disproven for creationist bullshit that's been going on? The wild
not super closely. I know I saw
the Big Bang has been disproven.
They think there's no reason to believe in the Big Bang, and they're excited about it.
Is this related to the black hole dark energy thing?
JWST, the sighting of the real early galaxies that are more fully formed than they thought. Yeah.
I haven't looked at that. I think Sal Cordova has maybe a few videos where
God.
I don't know. I'm going to be appearing. So tomorrow, Sal Cordova and Critical Based Theory are having a talk, and as Maya said, I guess I'm Kaz's pet physicist that will be on to fact check, even though I have no idea if any of it will be related to my particular field of expertise, which is very narrow. As with all PhDs,
he's a Sal mod too.
I am. I'm a mod on Sal's channel. I'm not sure if he knows I'm an atheist, even though I'm not hiding that. And I am an atheist, but he made me a mod one day. I am convinced that people sometimes make me a mod because I have doctor in my name, and they believe it, which they should, because I am. But
the only person that's not a mod. So I don't know if you're a mod yet on my channel, but Tangelo Grasso is the only person who is not a mod on my channel. So
Tangelo can't stop getting timed out on your channel. Hey guys, he made another comment. Are you just going to let that fly? One of you mods need to get on that. But again, people are not allowed to be timed out on my channel. I'm just reminding everyone.
Hold on,
Dr. Tapioca Weasel, I'm going to. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
I'm going to ask a question in private chat, and I would like for you to let me know if you want to answer it.
Okay, sure. I want to respond to what Otangelo said here, though, for a moment. Subatomic particles are fine-tuned to permit stable atoms and subsequently stars, planets, molecules, and life. Are they, though? it's true that certain numbers, if they were different, would not allow for some of these things. It's not clear to me that they could be different. It's that being said, it's not. It is a question that a lot of physicists think is a tough one that's worth answering. It's also one that some physicists don't think is particularly well motivated. I haven't honestly done enough research on the fine-tuning problem to have a particular opinion. But I'm very willing to believe that it just seems it's not that compelling to me.
Yeah. The whole thing. I mean, all of these physical laws are the way they are. It's like a structure, and you're saying that, oh, if the structure had been different, then we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have the fucking universe, you know. And it's like, okay, but we have the universe. This is the way things are. It's like if you find a rock in your yard and you pick it up, the rock is the way the rock is. And I don't understand, you know, the rock is fine-tuned just perfectly to fit together with all those crystals. It's like, otherwise it wouldn't be a fucking rock. I just don't understand.
And the rock can, you know, just zoom all over the earth and without a heat problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Rocks
No,
do.
I think when Sal, for example, talks about physics, I think that it's when he sort of slips into the confidence that is totally, I think, unearned.
Right.
Right. And I think a recent video of his was like titled like, you know, the Big Bang is a religion. I don't think that's like helpful or informative or really is addressing the thing. I think that when you do, if you talk with him, he's somebody that you can talk to, which is different from a lot of
I
yes.
Can't.
Maybe not. Maybe.
Well, he banned
enough.
me and he banned me and everybody on my channel from his sites. He won't respond to emails. He won't put us on his chat. He's completely banned.
Okay, fair enough.
Are we still talking about Sal?
Yeah, we're talking about Sal.
Yeah,
and the reason.
In fairness, though, early in your channel, almost every stream was Sal Cordova is a fucking idiot. And
yeah, but that was
like
no, that was
by sentence state why.
Okay, Maya, that was after he banned us. Okay. I mean, me and Sal were friends, and we were, you know, we had all kinds of hangouts together, and then all of a sudden he just like went weird on me, and then I started just, and then it was like, okay, now I can't even respond to him. So if I can't respond to somebody, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fuck with them. I'm going to fuck with, I mean, in every title, I'm going to call him an idiot, or, you know, I'm going to say something. And, of course, it just widened the gap, but the gap would have never healed anyway. Sal had totally cut me off and started talking shit about me and calling me a high school dropout whose brain was melted by drugs and alcohol or some fucking thing. And it just all went to hell. So, yeah, I come after him real heavily now. And
I haven't seen that, you know.
Anyway, but the thing is that Sal Cordova would talk about molecular biology and genetics, and he would talk with that same confidence, and he has absolutely no reason to. He does not know enough to be addressing these topics, and he knows enough to find one-off cherry-pick quotes and little pieces of information that seem to imply that creation is likely, and that's all he does. But like he'll pick something like he picked zinc fingers, right, which is a particular kind of protein. He picked one zinc finger out of the 700 or so that we have in our genome, and he tried to come up with this probability argument, and he was just talking shit. But as a molecular biologist, you listen to him and you realize he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And it could be the same for physics, you know, where he does the same overconfident. It's all preaching is what it is, and it's this like the thing about the Big Bang. Okay, Answers in Genesis very blatantly put a thing, an article up, and they said the Big Bang can't have happened because the Earth was created before the sun. And the Big Bang, it destroys that concept in Genesis. So that's the hill that they're going to die on. And that is the same hill that Sal Cordova and Rebecca are going to die on. That's the problem they have with the Big Bang, because it doesn't match the Genesis story. And it's like, oh my God. And then they call us religious. They project that stuff. So,
well, yeah. And
good luck with that
I think it's a
conversation.
big thing in the evangelical community to get science labeled a religion so they can get it kicked out of
Right.
schools.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I don't think he would agree that science is a religion. I think he would classify cosmology as a religion, and that's not. That's better in the sense that it's wrong about a smaller field, but it's still
evolution.
wrong.
Evolution is a religion.
Yeah. I
So
don't find that, but he's less. I think he's, if I judge him by sort of young Earth creationist standards, he's one of the more honest, I think, young Earth creationists.
No, here's what's going to happen. Okay, he's going to take you and base theory. He's going to agree with.
I'm like a fact checker apparently for the conversation. Okay. I'm like in the back, and every 20 minutes I'll pipe in. I don't know.
He's going to agree with everything you guys come up with, and he's going to say, "Oh, I didn't know that. I'll look into that. Thank you for telling me about that." And he's going to be extremely polite, and then he's going to shelve every topic before you can get into it in any detail. And if either one of the two of you push his nose deeply into one fucking detail, one fact, he will ban you. He'll all of a sudden have to go. Dr. Chris Thompson did it with him, and all of a sudden he had to go, and all of a sudden he doesn't want to talk to Dr. Chris as much. So he'll do this acquiescence thing, this fake politeness, and then he'll do another video completely reversing everything that you guys tried to present about an hour or two later, right? And if you want to call that honest, I question your definition.
I used the qualifier more. More.
Okay, more. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, because keep in mind, like I'm the people that he gets compared to are like Donnie and like Kent, and I mean when the bar is well below the event horizon of your black hole, it's not that hard to be above it.
Yeah. Well, Donnie is I would say he's more honest than Sal, and that he's not going to fucking bullshit you, that he's agreeing with you at some point. And Donnie will just come right in your face. But Donnie's also a dishonest fucking creationist.
Sal will take that clip of you calling him more honest than whatever, and he's going to.
Oh yeah, he's going to cut that out.
Video, or a debate. So anytime you have an interview with Sal, somebody of significance, he will be this compliant little puppy, and so thankful that you're on. And I didn't think about that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a really important point. And then when he's going to talk shit about you at one of his next live streams, and he's going to take clips from what you said to make it look like his position is the correct one. So that's Sal for you, buddies.
I was really good friends with him for a while and told him personal things, and we had personal conversations, and I considered him a friend. And then he just turned on me like a snake, and I don't even understand what happened. And of course I was hurt by it, and and I part of my striking back is that I was hurt by it. But I couldn't believe how it happened, how it unfolded. And we were like, I taught him how carbon chemistry works. Back in it's still on one of his channels, basically one of my shitty drawings where I showed him what an alcohol was and what methane was. And then a year later, he's calling himself a molecular biologist. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. Like, I don't know. It's just the whole thing with these creationists is they have a strongly political agenda that they are trying to put upon us, and creationism and fundamentalism, and it is something that is powerfully funded in this country, and we really have to stop pretending that they're nice people, and that they're going to acquiesce. And I just don't understand how we can be friends with these people when they keep putting out this bullshit at the level they're putting it out. And that's something that I changed, like I've been doing this channel for about 3 years, and I have definitely changed over the course of that 3 years to where I'm a little bit harsher with those guys than I used to be, because I've tried everything to reason with them.
That is a pattern that I have seen with a number of people. And I mean, I don't have any content on my own channel, but I appear on other people's channel starting about, like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think like that is a pattern that people go through with SFT a lot, is like things seem all right at the beginning, and then like, and I know that is a, I think to some extent, I'm just at the beginning stage of it, so like I'm willing to cut people more slack, and I think that's good. I think that's like kind of fair, like
enjoy the friendship. Enjoy the friendship while you have it. It won't last. It'll cut off. There are some people that have managed to navigate those waters, but I don't know. I put my foot in. I was asking him for a spreadsheet where he was trying to make some fucking ridiculous, put forth some ridiculous concept about DL amino acids, racemization of amino acids, and he created this spreadsheet. And I looked at what he created, and I thought, okay, this is so goddamn dumb that I can't believe that that's all that's in that spreadsheet. And so I kept asking him for the spreadsheet. And then in that process, all of a sudden he was like, well, I'm not going to respond to you anymore. And we're banning everybody on your channel, and you're a Satanist. And boom, it just all went to hell. And it was like, what? I don't know. I did that with John Maddox too. I kept asking him for a particular paper, and he just started hating me because I kept asking him for the source, right? I said, I want the source. And like, fuck, I should have learned that every time I try to press one of them for their source, I'm going to get banned. I'm going to end up fighting with them. But anyway.
The Bible. It is always the Bible.
No, it is the Bible.
Why would you even ask that?
Yeah, because I couldn't figure out why they didn't like the Big Bang. I mean, it almost sounds like God created the Big Bang, right? That's good for creationists.
That's what I grew up learning. I learned of the Big Bang in Catholic school. They were so proud of it. It was just
so happy about
it. Because before the Big Bang, I believe there was the idea of the steady state, which didn't conform to the Bible. So when a Catholic priest said, hey, no, there was a beginning, here we go. And I was told my entire childhood that this was proof that the Bible is true and science just needs to catch up. So we're going to let the scientists say whatever they want to say. We're just waiting for them to catch up to the truth of the Bible. So usually there wasn't a disconnect. There was the Bible that said God did it. And then there's science that said this is how God did it, because the thought was studying God's creation should get us closer to God. And so, I mean, for science denial, I don't understand science denial. I, grew up with a very solid foundation of science, evolution even, and God. And there was no disconnect. Science doesn't disprove a God. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't get it.
But, it's that whole creationist fundamentalist narrative where they'll find something in Genesis that will run counter to current scientific consensus, right? scientific consensus, and they will double down, and then they'll try to drag that down. They do it with evolution, they do it with geology. The billions of years are always picking on. Oh, they think it's billions of years, and we know it's only 6,000. But they came out, and I forget what it was. I'm trying to find the link. But Answers in Genesis put out a really good thing about why they don't like the Big Bang. And the first thing they mentioned is that it says that it makes it impossible to believe that the Earth was created before the sun. and they have to believe it. What's happening now? Scott? Is that you?
Scott?
I think so.
Some cat dared to walk on the sidewalk in front of the house.
Oh no! Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Anyway,
for shame.
Anyway, that's the whole thing, and it's like it is so ridiculous. I mean, there's so many ways that you could choose to read Genesis. I mean, even in the Presbyterian school at church that I went to, they didn't have a problem with any of that shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
like my Presbyterian.
I'm sorry, I'm listening.
My Presbyterian minister, when I was 6 years old, I had him on the steps of the Presbyterian church after church, and it was Reverend Peterson, and I said, "How do you explain dinosaurs being, millions of years old and all that stuff?" And he sat down, put his arm around me, and said, "Son, let me teach you what a metaphor is." And he called Genesis a metaphor, and I'm like, okay. And I said, "Yeah, it made perfect sense, right?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, there was always the argument over what is a day. So it was, and again, this wasn't from the Catholics. They just didn't address it. But from like family and things like that, it was just like, well, I think it was kind of a call to the evangelicals. It's like they think a day was an actual day, and that's absurd. And then there was like, well, the guy says, the Bible says that a day is 1,000 years or whatever. So, it could just be like, in my day. So that I think was like just in my community, the accepted term for that. It's like, well, saying, okay, a day, but it's talking about a period. And we don't know what the period is. That's what we have science for.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how they gelled it.
I can't believe I sat through a master's level classes in a seminary hearing people talk about the age day theory and the 1,000 years is as a day kind of crap. And that's why, I mean, I love the biblical studies part of it, but my master's degree is trash. It's so evangelical and all that oh, poor me. Oh, by the way, the dogs actually were doing their job because there was a delivery person who came to the door.
Oh.
And they barked. You heard how ferocious they were. So that is my security system.
So,
but yeah, I mean, with the evangelicals, even being like so pedantic about what this is, I mean, it's like just like even the translation or the thought process of it is like what, like 100 years or something like that. Like they haven't always thought about a biblical errancy the way that we do now, or they do now.
I don't know. There are so many ways that like there's a certain class of Christians that will just not be pedantic, right? They just have faith. They have faith, and the universe, however it got created, God did it. We know that, and we're just going to have faith, and we're not going to be all pedantic. And that strikes me as a more Buddhist way of being a Christian than these fundamentalists, which have this. No, you have to believe every word and analyze every word. I don't know. Pick their metaphors. They drive me crazy. That's kind of my big axe to grind as creationists. So anyway, especially how they fuck up evolution. They fuck up evolution.
Yeah, it's regrettable. Evangelicals are kind of, well, I mean, I'd say destroying the world. Definitely the country, though. Definitely the country. And I don't understand it. Like everybody else has figured out a way to work well with others.
Right.
And then these fuckers, it was just so weird. And I know that Sal and Rebecca are getting a lot of hate right now, but and Kent Hovind, let's not forget about him.
Oh, don't forget him.
But I mean, they're
Well,
actually
at least,
kind of on the nicer end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, Rebecca and Sal, at least they live the values, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Kent Hovind,
Right.
he's an entirely different story. So he's in a different class. So
he's a criminal and a cult leader.
yeah, Rebecca's genuinely a nice, caring person, but she too has this axe to grind, and she won't put it down. And I think it causes her a lot of trouble in her personal life, with her family too.
Why?
But she
Like
just
how?
wants to just. She did a stream with her brother, and they took it down. She took it down, but I listened to the whole thing, and it just seems like she was at odds with most members of her family on this creationism business. And
They
she
don't
just,
believe in. They don't
I
believe
don't think
in.
so. No.
Oh,
No, the brother certainly wasn't a creationist, and I think she's
wow.
probably the only one in her family that is. I don't know,
That's
and
interesting.
I just wonder at why you would be that stubborn
right.
on these these points. It just drives me crazy. So, but Rebecca, no, she won't even let me talk to her about evolution. So she's kind of like, she's still my friend, but she semi banned me from having a conversation.
Did you cuss her out?
Did I what?
Did you cuss her out?
No, I didn't. I just said, I'm very angry with you. That's all I said to her. I'm very angry with you. And yeah, I've been a little tougher on her since I got angry with her. And I got angry with her because she was basically, what did she say? Oh, I can't talk about evolution with you because you're so brainwashed.
Yeah,
that
you're
was
a
what
science
did
zombie or an evolution zombie. Is that what she called it?
Yeah, evolution zombie. I'm an evolution zombie. And it's like,
because you trust more the science?
She either got that term from Sal or together they came up with that term.
Yeah.
That
See,
just
the thing
sounds
is,
like a
Maya,
propaganda talking point. Oh, you're an evolution zombie.
Maya, I don't trust a single thing about the science. I explore every single bit of it, like evolution. Like, I swear I'm more skeptical about evolution and embryology and all these things than any creationist is. Because when I hear, how did something evolve? I'm like, okay, that sounds ridiculous. How did the liver evolve? And then what I do is I go and download 25 papers on it and I figure it out. Okay, that's skepticism. That's how it fucking works.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't mean like you have faith in the science. I didn't mean that at all. I think like a lot of scientists like trust other scientists. Like if it's not in your field. So, but it's not that they're just like, hey, such and such has a new idea on how this works, or we decided that there's the universe isn't 14 billion years old, it's 17, or whatever. They don't just like blindly trust it. They will go and be like, how did you determine that? And then you just kind of read it over, and as long as there's not any like gaping holes, they're like, okay, well, we trust that the field is being internally consistent. But I don't think
things
that's
like for cosmology and physics, I do trust the consensus, right? I trust it, but do I believe that the Big Bang happened? I kind of rather didn't. And I'm kind of agnostic about it, right? I mean, we may well discover something that basically makes that a lot more complicated a story than we thought it was, right?
Yeah, we likely
and that's already happening with those JWST discoveries, but like Dr. Becky said in her most recent video, it's way, way too early to even consider giving up on the Lambda CDT or whatever it's called.
Lambda CDM.
Yeah, CDM. Yeah. But because there's just so much of it that still holds together. And right now, these things are just a big question mark.
I don't think the Big Bang is threatened by that as much as our ideas about the consistency of the early universe, the distribution of matter, and how fast things came together. So basically, they're saying they have to modify their models of galaxy formation. That's what is in question right now, not the Big Bang.
You know, and in expressing any model, anybody who's going to say that in reality things happen really smoothly and evenly, I'm kind of going to go, that's probably a little bit of bullshit, because reality never works out like the models of reality. I don't want to say never, because a scientist wouldn't say never, but what do you think, Dr. Tapioca Weasel? Should I have been surprised when the universe was not as even? What's the word? Evenly dispersed as they thought.
I honestly, I need to watch those videos. I actually haven't kept up with some of the stuff that's come out in the last couple of weeks, and even a month or two probably. But no, you should not have been surprised. To give you the short answer, that's like why we do the thing, is to find the stuff.
That's why they did the tool, right? They're happier than hell that they found out that their models need work.
It's, oh man, JWST is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And they're already designing another one like it, right? Really? Like a better one.
I don't blame that. You know how long it took them to design and get this one up?
Decades.
Decades. I think I think it was more, but let me.
You know, and this idea about the universe being a little more lumpy than thought. You have peanut butter. That spreads evenly throughout your onto your slice of bread. And they thought that the universe was dispersed more like that. But I remember science news segments on late night radio shows talking about this back in the early 2000s. So some experiment had been conducted that concerning the background radiation or whatever that started to imply that the universe wasn't as evenly distributed with matter and energy decades ago, literally. Yeah. And so we're getting more information along those lines, but this is not a surprise even, because, it was sometime around the time that maybe about 5 years before the last shuttle that blew up. Because I worked at the same place, and that's why I remember the two events.
Yeah, but so anyway, the thing, real quick though, I want to just put this out there, because creationists believe like the Bible is the infallible word of God, and it happened exactly this way. And science doesn't do that. And I think there's a disconnect for them. Like when they hear Big Bang, it's just like, oh, there are flaws, so this can't be. And I don't think there are any scientists that are saying, no, this is exactly how it happened and it will never change, which fucks with them. And so, I don't know, it's really hard arguing Bible and dogmatic beliefs with science. And, it's just it's a different.
You're not going to get dogma. You're not going to get dogma in a truly scientific discussion.
Not the way they have it.
Right.
No. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So Dave asked a question here. I would leave everything exactly the way it is unfolding, because everything is unfolding as it should. I'm sorry, I wouldn't change a thing. I love carbon.
I'm not smart enough to come up with rules that would cover things to make sure all the right things happen.
Are there rules so that there are no evangelicals? They just
that would be good.
I'm totally cool with religion, but like if we could just cut out the rules that made the fundamentalist of any religion, like that would be great. If I could figure out what that rule was, I would throw that in the cake. But other than that, it's whatever.
But
anyway, I wouldn't change anything either, because I same thing. Like a lot easier to break something.
Yeah. So my naive understanding of the Big Bang and physics, right? I always thought that, from the singularity, something, expanded. And in that expansion, there was a inconsistency, or it wasn't homogeneous. It wasn't pudding. And then I think I was corrected in that even with a pudding model, eventually things would have started to cluster and coalesce. But it just seems to me that there was some kind of information that was already present, and that would account for things getting together faster, for clusters forming faster, if there was some kind of early information coming out of that singularity. Because from that singularity is like a reflection of some other outer geometry of the cosmos in general that we have no understanding of at all. And whatever it was, it's probably happening all the time, everywhere. If that were even, when you talk about outside of space time, you can't even talk about everywhere or here or there. You're dealing with entirely different geometries, right? But there was some kind of information, and that would have accounted for some of this early clustering. And I think that my stupid, naive idea from 30 years ago may end up being more salient as they figure out what's going on. That there was something in the singularity. Basically, it was already the clusters or the crystals, the seeds of the crystals were already there. Does that make sense, or am I totally off base?
Yeah, that's so my understanding of the anisotropies that we do see in the mass distribution of the universe is that they came from quantum fluctuations in the initial early state, because you're always going to have some fluctuations because of like quantum physics, and that like can seed the development of these early things. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like if these things are sort of spawned in some way or pinched off from another manifold of space-time in some way that makes it I don't know, I don't know, then some of those things, it might not just be random fluctuations, it could be like imprinted by something, and then you could like make a universe with a universe factory that would like do different patterns, and you could have like a gender reveal party where you make a new universe and it causes a fire somewhere.
Somebody somewhere must have had a gender reveal party for the universe. That's a good idea. Hopefully nobody got blown up. I've heard some of those things have gotten badly. Anyway, what else we got?
So,
I think I actually need to take off.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good hanging out.
Yeah, Doctor.
I hope you're a subscriber, and I hope you stop by, and I hope you get me your email address so that I can invite you when we have topics that you may need to help us out with.
All right, will do.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Bye. So you want to fight about free will, Maya? What the hell's the difference between
free will?
Yeah, do you have the will to fight about free will? So what is the difference between free will and what was the other one?
Free choice.
Freedom of choice?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what I got wrong. I never did figure it out because I think so differently about these things, I think.
I don't know. I mean, like, there's your will and there's like the choices. So, I mean,
well, I guess you could be in prison, and your will is to be able to vote for Joe Biden in the presidential election, but you're not able to. You don't have that choice.
Yeah, I mean, so free will is actually a limiter on choice. Well, okay. What was it? Let me think. I can't even remember where I was reading about this, but they were programming a computer, and I read a lot of shit about learning and development, and they just gave it the rules of chess, and with the goal of winning, And so
Yeah.
at the very beginning, and that was it, nothing else. At the very beginning, the computer's playing against, professionals, getting its ass handed to it, right? But the computer started learning, and after however many hundred times, it was giving it back to it was beating the professionals. And so what do we know from this? So does anybody believe the computer had free will?
Yeah.
It certainly had
Well,
free choice. It had the choice to make
okay.
the move of all those pieces. It could choose any piece and it could make any move. It had a bunch of choices. Did it have free will?
Yeah. Okay. I think I see the hair that you're splitting. I don't know. But when it comes to us, we're being operated on by an environment, right?
Mhm.
And there's a certain pattern that we have in our cerebral cortex, whatever, and that environment is going to deterministically make that choice. And the thing is that it's very confusing because when I think about, okay, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to go left or right because I want to cross the street diagonally, right? I'm
Okay.
going to go left or right. It doesn't make any difference which I choose. To me, I can reason all day long, and I'm not going to find a benefit to going to taking the left street first or the right street first, right? To cross diagonally. And then all of a sudden, impulsively, something maybe from some bad bit of beef that I ate the day before causes me to go right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I make a choice? Really? I don't think so. Was it free will? No, not libertarian free will. It was, just a
The libertarian free
deterministic thing.
will is the stupid one, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the one that thinks that there's a uber spirit mind making that sits around and can decide to do whatever it wants to do, apparently. Axe murder,
No, yeah, libertarian
villages.
free will is where like everything just happens randomly, and the past. It's like the past has nothing to do with like your choice.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
want oatmeal or I want cereal, and
Yeah.
what happened in the past has nothing to do with that. And I, I think that a lot of people don't realize that it does. But no, yeah, that's stupid. I'm not arguing for any type of free will because I'm a psych major, and if there's any type of free will, then my whole field is debunked because
Right.
not having free will leads to randomness. I mean, having free will leads to randomness, and then there is nothing to study.
Yeah.
And we don't see randomness with people. So, like, I can't like really say that I'm qualified at all to practice in my field if I'm going to add free will to
Yeah.
the mix. So it's just kind of like the
Yep.
default. And even when you see outliers, if you like track that one person down, what you're going to see is influences outside of the norm that led to that outlier.
Yeah.
But I mean, you always have choices. Like, it's like my boss told me to do something I didn't want to do. I eliminated quitting or the potential of being fired from my choices. So that was not quitting and being fired is not aligned with my will. So I have to figure out a way to eat shit for my boss to keep my job.
Yeah.
So that is will.
Get a better toothpaste
Yeah.
because you're going to eat shit.
Yeah, I think my problem, or the problem that some people have with the way I do things, is that I come at everything from this super reductive. Well, I don't like the word reductive. The super inclusive physicality to everything, including the mind, and I'll interpret everything that way. But when you're talking about choices and the will to do things, you're at a higher level. You're way up there, And in order to get from my physical level to there, we'd have to go through a lot of neuroscience and a lot of physics, and we'd have to construct these massive, theories, right? That would get from the little tiny level that I'm at, the structure of the brain and neurons firing, basically, to get all the way up to these macro concepts. And
Right.
I'm I think that way. I think that way about everything. Everything to me is
neurons
just
firing are just like ones and zeros, though, right? So, like, what
kind
is?
of. Well, not very now. They're like
I mean,
1.01,
okay, ones and zeros. It's just like
1.02. Okay.
it's just electricity firing in a computer. So, I mean, like, I
Yeah,
don't see how it's different.
it either fires or it doesn't. We could say that. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Right.
in that way, it's binary, right? Yeah, yeah. But there's
And
lots of them in their systems.
yeah, yeah. Depending on what program you're firing up, they're going to fire in different ways. Um, but again, behavior psychology. So I don't really, yeah, neurons fire, and it's great if it comes from the hypothalamus or the Broca's area. I don't give a fuck, right? I want to know like
Yeah.
what does it do, you know?
Right, right.
So when you're talking about, so I'm more interested in like the higher level concepts. Like what is that
Yeah,
you're talking about seeing?
Yeah, and that's why the language I use will sometimes be at odds with you, but I probably agree with you totally. And if we communicated on it, you'd probably see where I was coming from. My scientism background, my physicality for everything permeates the way I think about all these things. So anyways, it's usually just the way I present things, and I don't present very well. My mind is a fucking zoo.
I know, same.
And I just blurted it out there.
No, same. I was moderate to severe ADHD, so there's just like a bunch of shit going on up in here, and I'm trying to make it make sense. So.
Yeah, I did a TOVA test, and I was up in the. I don't know if they did it by percentage, but I was like way the fuck up there on top for ADHD. I did it. Do you know what a TOVA test is?
I've heard of it. I've never.
I don't know if it's popular anymore. It measures impulsivity and whether you're going to chase the rabbit or whatever. I chase the fucking rabbit a lot. But anyway, before we wrap up, do you have an opinion about
people like high daydreamers, or like if you high daydreamers is a mark of creativity, and a lot of people are saying it's like well, actually, yeah, it has been linked to high intelligence. So just FYI.
Yeah, good. I like that.
You see that brave dog up there roaming around.
Oh my God! What is he doing? Is he on top of the table?
He's on top of the back of the couch, and he's just sometimes he sits almost like a vulture, waiting to dive down and catch its prey. But right now he's just gonna lick himself.
Are you sure it's not taking a dump? Because he looks a little too relaxed.
He could. That dog really could. Both of my dogs really aren't great for behaving. I got them after they were fully grown, so I didn't get to teach them my way. It's a kind of a wrestling match, a shouting match around here sometimes.
Indeed.
Getting them to do what they're supposed to do. But,
all right. Well, our numbers are falling off, so I guess that means we're getting boring.
Yeah, we're getting boring. Just one question: what do you think of psychedelic therapy? Do you have an opinion, or?
Again, not my field.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm hearing things.
No.
I'm waiting for like more solid information to come out before I weigh in.
Okay. But I mean, really, if they took a bag of mushrooms and brought them to one of your HR meetings and dropped it on the, I mean, you can imagine that you would make some progress, right?
I think if you put it in tea bags and with the little strings and everything, so she can steep it, she might actually.
I work in healthcare. I do not want my professionals using drugs on the clock.
Everybody would be hugging each other and like, oh God, I love you.
People would be dying and falling down. No.
Okay, I just want to know.
Maybe in like a video game or I don't know. Not
anyway, it's one of my latest obsessions.
I have noticed. I've noticed.
Yeah.
I can't with any degree of competence weigh in though.
It's from watching the series Last of Us and siding with the mushrooms. I mean, I side with the clickers, so like I'm rooting for the clickers. So anyway,
Now, Speed,
Yeah.
there is a link that Deconverted Man shared with us. I want you to put in the description because it's not about mushrooms. I'm sorry,
Damn it.
but it's a thing about how we make choices that we do.
Oh,
It's
cool. Okay.
on the Skeptic channel with Michael Shermer, and then Paul Zach, I think, is the guest. And
I'm gonna go watch that.
Yeah, I think I will too, because
That's what we're gonna do next.
And you're, of course, welcome to go watch it if you want to, Maya.
Thank you.
But I don't know if it's a free choice or not.
Anyway, okay, cool. So finally got connected with you. Finally got to talk to you. Got to know you a little bit, and I like that. So that was my goal.
It was lovely to have you on here.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is fun. I haven't been on here, God, forever. So it's been nice.
Cool. Oh, I did not save that link. I'll save that link and then we'll shoot her in the head. How about that?
All right.
That sounds like a plan. Now you
don't have to. Thanks to everybody who
leave
came
immediately. You can stay in the background in the back room.
Yeah, you can stay for a minute.
If you want.
Stay in the back rooms. Let's see how
okay.
God is to me.
Ending the stream. Goodbye, cruel world.
Goodbye.